I've got 4 words. Josh Kelly, Daniyar Yeleussinov. I smash him.
Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I'm in an undisclosed location right now. I'm en route to go somewhere very important. There'll be more details on that later on. But while I'm sitting here in this airport, I wanted to speak about something that really has been pissing me off, honestly. It's been very, very frustrating to hear this news. It's been very frustrating to follow this news because a lot of times on this channel, you hear me talk about how messed up the boxing game is. Sometimes you hear me talk about how promoters will stack the odds against fighters and treat them like nothing, really. Like, they'll treat them as if the promoters are the pimps and the fighters the hoes, if we're being 100% blunt about things. And what I'm speaking about in this video is none other than Daniyar Yeleussinov. Now, this is a guy in Daniyar Yeleussinov who was a blue chip talent coming out of the amateurs. This is a guy that won an Olympic gold medal. This is a guy that, you know, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, Eddie Hearn went up to Terrence Crawford and was talking about how Daniyar Yeleussinov was gonna, you know, fight him and stuff like that. So this guy was blue chip. He proved himself to be a creme de la creme, A-level, world-class talent coming out the amateurs, and everybody wanted to sign him. And Eddie Hearn signed him. And then he got to the pros, and he had his 11 fights. You know, he's kind of been out of sight, out of mind for the last few years. He fought Julius Ndongo, which is the last time I remember watching him fight, and then he knocked him out. And then he had a fight last December, and he's kind of just faded into obscurity. He's become an afterthought in the welterweight division. And truth be told, Daniyar Yeleussinov is way too talented. He's way too good. He's way too skilled to be an afterthought in the welterweight division. But let's call a spade a spade. The only reason that he is an afterthought in the welterweight division is because of the way boxing is. Like, for example, he's from Kazakhstan, so a lot of the fighters from Kazakhstan, they don't speak English, so they're at a disadvantage already. Secondly, apart from him being from Kazakhstan, he's a guy that doesn't really have the most fan-friendly style. And he talked about these things in a recent interview, but he pretty much said that he's become completely disillusioned with the sport of boxing. And he's like many other fighters in the sport. Like a lot of these fighters, they come into the pros still having a love for boxing, wanting to do all the right things, and then they get a taste of what the business is like, and they become completely disillusioned. And this isn't like think about it. He's not some run-of-the-mill fighter. Like, this isn't some guy that he's just a regular. This is an Olympic gold medalist, This guy beat up on Jamel Herring. He beat up Josh Taylor. He beat Josh Kelly. He beat Shakram Giashov. He beat guys who are either world champions right now, guys who are ranked right now, guys who were world champions, and he is not being afforded the opportunities to fight. I mean, he said, and himself in the contract, he pretty much said that Matchroom, when they were trying to renegotiate his contract and re-sign him, he pretty much said that Eddie Hearn put in the contract that if he was going to continue to box with Matchroom, that basically he was going to have to only take $100,000 for a fight, no matter who he was fighting. So, like, let's say he fought Conor Benn, who's a massive name in the UK, or Terrence Crawford, or Virgil Ortiz, or whoever. He can never make any sort of money that would exceed $100,000. Now, going just beyond boxing, like, you guys tell me, if you took a job and you were exceptional at your job, you were one of the best in the world at your job or your career path, you would want to get paid more as you continue to show your value and demonstrate your value. You wouldn't put yourself in an unfavorable position if you had any sort of brains to where you would make the same amount of money and you continue to demonstrate your value. You know, no smart business person would do anything like that. So why should Daniyar Yeleussinov take that sort of a deal? That's not fair to him. And I know life isn't fair, but that's just what it is. He said in the contract that those are like slave-like obligations. Now, we haven't heard Eddie Hearn comment about this, so we can only go off the Daniyar situation, Daniyar's comments. If Daniyar is telling the truth about the contract and the money being the same no matter who he fought, whether it was Crawford, whether it was Virgil Ortiz or Conor Ben, then if he's telling the truth, then Eddie Hearn has a lot to answer for, because this is a guy that's an Olympic gold medalist. And I understand that boxing is a business. I understand it's about entertainment and all this kind of stuff, but you don't treat a guy like that. If a guy is that good, if a guy is a gold medalist, if a guy has the talent to compete with the top guys in the division and potentially beat the top guys in the division, you don't treat him like that. That's just not right. And with Eddie Hearn, right? And not just Eddie Hearn, but boxing in general, it's like Daniyar Yeleussinov should be like, right now, Daniyar Yeleussinov should be somewhere between 17 and 20-0. 17, 20-0, and we should be, his name should be in the mix, like where Styonus is and Cody Crowley and these kind of guys, where they're at, he should be there. He should be a guy we talk about fighting Jeron Ennis. He should be a guy we talk about fighting Virgil Ortiz. But because boxing has this way of phasing out guys they don't like, or guys that they feel like don't have any value to them as promoters, he gets the short end of the stick. And all he's done in his career so far is beat everybody they put in front of him. He's gone. He's 11-0 with 6 knockouts. So what's the issue? Why are they putting these things in contracts for him? Why has the boxing game mistreated Daniyar Yeleussinov so bad to the point where he's now considering retirement? He said it. He said he needs a promoter, and he said he needs to get fights, and he needs to get like noteworthy fights, because if he's not getting those noteworthy fights to push his career forward, he's going to retire by the end of 2022. That's what's going to happen with Daniyar Yeleussinov, So it's unfortunate, but he said it himself. He said, look, my goal wasn't ever to be like a big star in the pros, nothing like that. Everything right now is a bonus. I accomplished my goal of winning a gold medal, but still, that doesn't excuse the fact that he's been severely mistreated, severely mismanaged, and he is, as Paulie Malignaggi once said about other fighters, he is a product of this shitty business. It's a great sport, the best sport in the world, but a product of this shitty business. And he's not the only guy in the welterweight division who's getting mistreated. I talk a lot on this channel about guys like Pistol Pete Dobson, another really good welterweight who can really fight, not getting the opportunities. Harold Calderon, another guy. These guys aren't as like, they don't have the pedigree of a Daniyar Yeleussinov, but these guys have had a hard time being kept active. But it's a ripple effect in boxing right now. A lot of guys aren't active, but this is a little bit different, because not only is Daniyar Yeleussinov not active, he's being mistreated. He's being given bad contracts and things like that. So Eddie Hearn has to answer this. Eddie Hearn has to say something about this. Otherwise, it's going to look really bad on him. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like blue chip. This guy was blue chip. The guy was one of the top amateur fighters in the world, and he was pegged to become a guy that had a legitimate chance to become the welterweight champion of the world, and he hasn't even been able to stay active and get his name in the mix with forget Crawford and Spence. He can't even get his freaking name in the mix with Styonus and Cody Crowley and Ennis and them type of guys. So that's nothing short of a tragedy, and that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Daniyar Yeleussinov's claims of Eddie Hearn mistreating him and him contemplating retirement by the end of 2022. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniyar. So until next time, take care, guys.
Thank you for watching True School Sports.
No, follow this kid.
Oh.
He's a true, it's a young, true, passionate person who follows boxing. He wakes up thinking about boxing and he goes to sleep thinking about boxing.
This is true.
Good kid, good man, and looking forward to seeing him everywhere in the boxing world.
Hey man, if you ain't subscribed to True School Sports, you fucking up, man. Make sure you subscribe, bro.
Fucking up big time.
Make sure, man.